Good fathers or good people sound guilty in family court. The communication mistakes that destroy credibility before the evidence has even been heard. Have you ever noticed something strange about family court? The person telling the truth often sounds like they're lying, and the person hiding things sometimes sounds calm, confident, and completely believable. Now, before anyone starts foaming at the mouth and leaving comments, no, I'm not saying courts reward liars. I'm saying the family court is full of human beings. Judges are human. Barristers are human. Social workers are human. CAFCASS officers are human. And human beings make snap judgments, whether they admit it or not, whether they mean it or not, they do. The moment you walk into a room, people start making assessments, not about your evidence, about you. And if you've ever sat in a CAFCASS interview, you'll know exactly what I mean. Your heart is pounding, your mouth is dry, and you haven't slept properly for 3 days. You've rehearsed every answer in your head. You've replayed every allegation. You've gone over every message, every email, every handover, every contact session, and you know your case inside out. Then somebody asks the first question, and suddenly your brain packs its bags and leaves the country. Gone. Completely gone. It's somewhere in Birmingham eating a Greg's sausage roll while you're sitting there sounding like you've just been arrested for stealing traffic cones. Well, sort of, brilliant. £6,000 on a solicitor, 9 months preparing, a lever arch thicker than a Bible, and you've somehow managed to sound like a man being interviewed after a mild concussion. Meanwhile, the other side looks calm, relaxed, breathing normally, sipping water, looking like they're attending a school parents' evening. And that's when panic starts, because now you're not just answering questions, you're watching yourself answer questions. You're hearing yourself answer questions. You're judging yourself answering questions. And that's where people start making mistakes, because pressure doesn't create communication habits. Pressure exposes them. The habits were already there. The stress that shines a spotlight on them. And today, I want to show you this 5 communication mistakes make good parents sound guilty, unstable, aggressive, or unreliable, even when they're telling the truth. And the first one is everywhere. Once you hear it, you'll never stop hearing it again. The nervous question mark. Have you ever met somebody who turns every statement into a question? I dropped the child off at school. I attended every contact session. I completed the parents' course. Everything sounds uncertain. Everything sounds tentative. Everything sounds like they're asking permission to exist. Now, here's the funny thing. Most people don't even realize they're doing it, especially when they're nervous, because fear changes your voice. The pitch rises, the confidence drops, and suddenly every sentence sounds like a hostage negotiation. The problem is this: when your statements sound uncertain, you sound uncertain. And family court is one big giant credibility assessment. People are consistently asking themselves, do I believe this person? Do they seem reliable? Do they seem confident in what they are saying? Notice I didn't ask whether they were right. I asked whether they seem right, because perception matters. Let's do a quick experiment. Imagine a CAFCASS officer asks, how often do you see your child? Answer number 1. Well, I've generally had regular contact every week. Now, answer number 2. I've had regular contact weekly. Which sounds more credible? Same information, completely different delivery. One sounds like evidence. The other sounds like a teenager explaining why the kitchen window is broken. The lesson? Stop ending facts like questions. If it's true, let it land. I attended. I completed. I complied. Full stop. No apology. No uncertainty. And no verbal shrug. Because confidence isn't speaking loudly. Confidence is speaking clearly. Now let's move on to the mistake that destroys more cases than almost anything else. Over-explaining. Or as I like to call it, the father's curse. The explanation avalanche. Honestly, if over-explaining was an Olympic sport, separated fathers would win every medal available. Gold, silver, bronze, they'd be up there. The special participation trophy, they'd be getting it. All of them. Because here's what happens. Somebody asks a simple question. Did you send that message? And suddenly, we get a Netflix documentary. Well, technically, yes, but before that we had issues around the Christmas arrangements. Then the mother got involved, and then there was an incident at the handover, and there was an accusation made. Stop. Nobody asked the Lord of the Rings extended edition. They asked whether you sent the message. Here's why people do it. Fear. Fear makes people think, if I don't explain everything, they'll misunderstand me. So they explain more and more and more until nobody understands anything. Imagine your answer is a glass of water. Clear, simple, and easy to drink. Every unnecessary detail is a spoonful of mud. Eventually, nobody can see through it. And here's the cruel irony. The more desperate you are to be understood, the more likely you are to confuse people. Because communication isn't about how much information you can dump onto someone. It's about how clearly they can follow your point. Judges don't want novels. CAFCASS don't want novels. Social workers don't want novels. They want answers. The strongest communicators understand something powerful. The person who uses fewer words often sounds more credible than the person using 50. Not because they're smarter, but because they're clearer. Which brings me to the next most useful framework that you'll ever use. 3 letters, and I learned this myself a few weeks ago. It's called PAT. And if you ever master one thing, this will save you from destroying your own credibility. The PAT method. Picture this. You just sat there, sitting there in court. The barrister stands up. They're asking you, they ask a question designed to make you uncomfortable. Your heart rate doubles. Adrenaline arrives, and your brain starts screaming, answer now, answer now, answer. Big mistake, because the first letter in PAT is P, and that's for pause. Do absolutely nothing for 2 seconds, maybe 3, 4 if we want to go for push, 5 if you want to. Think, and that's it. Now here's the funny part. Most people think pausing makes them look stupid. It doesn't. It makes them look thoughtful. Watch experienced judges. Watch experienced barristers. Watch experienced interviewers. They pause constantly because confident people aren't frightened of silence. Nervous people are. The second letter is an A, and that's for ask, clarify, narrow the question. For example, what concerns do you have about communication? Communication with whom? Over what period? In what context? Ask. Are you referring to the communication between me and the mother? Now the target is smaller. Now the answer becomes easier. Most people get themselves in trouble because they're answering 10 questions disguised as one. The best communicators shrink the battlefield. Then comes the final letter, T, the one thing. This is where most people fail because they answer everything instead of answering the one thing. Imagine CAFCASS asking, what concerns do you have? Most parents respond like they've unloaded a skip. School, money, text messages, new partners, missed contact, Facebook posts, neighbor's cat. Everything. They unload. Instead, try this. Just try this. The one thing I'm most concerned about is consistency for the child. Immediately you're focused. Immediately you're clear. Immediately people know where you're going. And clarity creates credibility. Now let's talk about something that makes most people deeply uncomfortable. Eye contact. And why eye contact matters more than you think. Have you ever noticed what nervous people do? They look everywhere. The table, the paperwork, the ceiling, the radiator, the fireplace, the fire exit, emergency lighting, everything except the person they're talking to. And I understand why. Pressure makes people retreat. But here's the problem. The other person can't see your anxiety. They only see your behavior. You feel nervous. They see avoidance. You feel intimidated. They see uncertainty. You feel overwhelmed. They see disengagement. That's why eye contact matters. Not because it makes you look dominant, because it makes you look present. And presence is powerful. It communicates. It communicates, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm engaged, I'm not hiding. You don't need to stare somebody into another dimension. No, there's no need for that. There's absolutely no need for that at all. There's no need for that at all. Yeah. You don't have to stare them out like that at all. It's not a cowboy film. It's not, you're not in a gun shoot, right? But steady, natural eye contact creates connection, and connection builds trust. People trust people who appear present. It's simple as that. Now let's talk about the communication skill that terrifies almost everybody. Silence. The silence that makes people reveal everything. Silence is fascinating because most people treat silence like it's an emergency. The second a gap appears, they rush in to fill it. I used to be guilty of it. Well, like someone's trying to patch up a leaking boat. But silence isn't your enemy. Silence is where authority lives. Think about every confident person you've ever met. Did they rush or did they take their time? Exactly. Because silence does 5 things. First, it makes people listen. Second, it gives weight to your words. Third, it gives you time to think. Fourth, it stops rambling. And fifth, this one's beautiful, silence makes other people talk. Watch what happens when somebody finishes speaking and you don't immediately jump in. Pause, wait, hold the space. Most people can't tolerate it. They'll keep talking. They'll explain more, clarify more, reveal more. Sometimes they'll answer questions you haven't even asked them because human beings hate silence. And if you can be comfortable with it, you instantly gain an advantage. Not because you're manipulating anybody, because you're actually listening, which is rare, especially in family court, because everybody is waiting for their time to speak. Very few people are genuinely listening. And that brings us to the biggest lesson of them all. the calm parent wins the room. Most parents walk into family court believing the winner is the person with the strongest emotions. Wrong. The winner is usually the person with the strongest emotional control. Think about turbulence on a plane. Who reassures passengers? The screaming passenger or the calm pilot? Exactly. Family court is an emotional turbulence. Everybody's stressed, everybody's emotional, everybody is frightened, and in that environment, calmness stands out. Not because calmness is always right, but because calmness is memorable. The parent who remains composed under pressure appears more credible. The parent who pauses appears more thoughtful. The parent who answers clearly appears more reliable. The parent who maintains eye contact appears more confident. The parent who doesn't over-explain appears more trustworthy. And that's why communication matters. Not because communication replaces evidence. Evidence still matters. Facts still matter. Truth still matters. But facts don't speak. People do. And if you're the one speaking, you owe it to yourself and your child to communicate in a way that allows people to actually hear what you're saying. So before your next CAFCASS interview, before your next social worker meeting, before your next fact-finding hearing, remember 5 things. Speak with conviction. Don't turn facts into questions. Use fewer words. Answer the question asked. Use pat, pause, ask, and then the one thing. Maintain eye contact and become comfortable with silence. Because when pressure rises, most people speed up, but most people talk more. Most people panic. The most credible people do the opposite. They slow down, they think, they answer carefully, and they let their composure speak for itself. Because in family court, credibility isn't just what you say, it's how you say it. If you need help going through family court with CAFCASS interviews, getting ready for court, anything like that at all, my number's around the box, emails around the box somewhere. Reach out, get in touch. Happy to help.